Hello everybody, Ben Rogers here, the Raptors Digest, breaking down the Toronto Raptors 139-109 victory against the Atlanta Hawks, and my goodness, this was a monster W for this team. The Raptors came out and, took it to a team that they're going to be fighting with, jockeying for position with in the Eastern Conference, and just delivered the goods on them, especially in the second half. Man, then, the Hawks, they came out. They took their punches. They're a team that was looking to get a W here tonight, and the Raptors just weren't having any of it. And guys like Scottie Barnes, Pascal Siakam, they all continue to play well, and they did it without the services of Fred VanVleet. I know that's going to be a massive discussion in this one, but the first guy I want to talk about, and the first guy, I didn't even give out this award in the most recent video, but tonight, the Scottie Barnes Award, it's going to the guy that just made me feel the best. The criteria are fluid with this award. So the guy that knocked down the most threes, the guy with the most fluid jump shot on the court, and he played up against a guy that's continuously compared to Steph Curry and Trae Young. Scottie Barnes had the most elite looking jump shot in this game here tonight, because 21 points, 7 rebounds, 8 assists, filling up the stat sheet as always from Scottie Barnes. But that's not what we're crazy excited about. What we're excited about in this game is Scottie Barnes. Look at that box score. 5 of 9 from the three-point line. And if you watch those shots, folks, Scottie Barnes was hitting pull-up threes, transition, contested threes. The form is looking fast. It's looking fluid. It's looking crazy. It was wild out here. We got a super chat coming in from Marcel Martin, the legend. Courtside Dad just saying, of course it gets scary hours on Halloween. It gets cold for Trae Young. It gets spooky. I meant to have a little mask on to start this podcast, but I was too excited. Got the setup change. I also got a live subscriber count. I think that's where I got to point to. But let's see if we can get this. Let's see if we can get 150 subs. 26,150 subs by the end of the night. Let's see if we can get that rocking on this stream, because I'm juiced. We already got to 122 people in here. But Scottie Barnes, man, we talked about it the entire summer. The jump shot in those videos, I know they're just workout videos. We've seen the likes of Ben Simmons, the young socialite, different players across the league come out and consistently, work on their game. The jump shot's always looking better. It's looking faster. They're going to be knocking down threes coming into the season. But something about Scottie Barnes' mechanics, the form looked a little bit tighter. There wasn't as much of a hitch on the jump shot at the end. And it's looked pretty solid in preseason and regular season. But I've had the complaints saying, okay, but Scottie Barnes isn't taking enough of those shots, right, in general, in the lane and from beyond the three-point line and stuff. He just hasn't been shooting enough. And tonight, with Fred VanVleet out, the ball in his hands, he was ready to hoist up those threes, and it's just so fast. The release is so quick. Just look at Scottie Barnes' jump shot from this point last year to where it's at now, and he looks like a whole different player. Now, the real question is, looking at this game, because Scottie Barnes was the de facto point guard for most of this, played 33 minutes in this one, right? Starting lineup was him, Gary Trent Jr., OG Anunoby, Pascal Siakam, and Christian Koloko. But Scottie Barnes is the point guard in that lineup. He was carrying up the ball most possessions. And, people are looking at Scottie Barnes. They're looking at this man and they're saying, should he be our point guard? Should he be the guy that we should be running the offense through on most possessions? And while I love Fred VanVleet, and while I still think he should be our starting point guard, spoiler alert, that's my take, we play so much faster with Scottie Barnes having the basketball. He just pushes the ball up the court. That's my one big complaint about Fred VanVleet. I know a lot of people are bagging on the guy recently, but he just tends to slow down the game a little bit too much. He's actually been a lot better for it this season than he has been in years past. But Scottie Barnes just drives that ball up the court, goes quickly, takes a shot early if he has to, 5 seconds or less offense, but can create, gets into the actions quickly. And I feel like it energizes the team. The entire team feels a bit more motivated, a bit more involved when we just dribble that ball up the court pretty quick and stuff. And we have a super chat coming in from got the Smart Boy costume on tonight. Had to break out the specs. I got a lot of stuff going out here on the screen, so want to be able to see the box score. I found myself looking too deep into the screens and stuff, but I appreciate, I guess the glasses are somewhat of a costume out here right now. But man, Anthony's in the chat saying run it through Scottie. The jump shot's improved. He's dribble driving, he's facilitating, he's getting rebounds, and this is what we love to see. And while saying this, I know people are going to be bagging on the dude and Fred VanVleet. I'm going to do a whole topic on him, but having the ball run through Scottie Barnes not only takes a load off of Fred VanVleet because he doesn't have to dribble as much, he can sort of play off the ball, right? Be more of a floor spacer for Scottie Barnes' drives, for those kickouts. So he'll get easier shots. There's less of a load on him to create for others when the ball's in Scottie Barnes' hands. And Fred VanVleet, Gary Trent Jr. is an elite knockdown shooter. I think if Fred got the looks that Gary Trent Jr. got at times, that OG Anunoby got at times, he'd probably be our most efficient three-point shooter. He's elite from beyond the arc as well, right? Just getting those looks. I feel like that's just sort of the route we go. It's not a bagging on Fred VanVleet as a point guard. It's not bagging on him on any of those fronts, but Scottie Barnes is just naturally built point guard. This is what we were talking about in the offseason, and this is what I want to see happen. And takes a load off of Fred. You can sit him, run Scottie Barnes to that point guard position. So, I don't know. That's my take there. But, folks, Scottie Barnes is getting the love to start off this podcast, but there's a man that has really just been consistent. He's been facilitating. He's been defending. He's been out here running the court. He's been out there hitting ISO shots for this team. He's out here. He's doing every single thing out there on the court, and that is none other than Spicy Piece, Pascal Siakam. We have to give some love. We have to give some respect to this guy. Channel members in the chat, throw your Spicy P peppers out there and just throw some W's. Just throw some love in the chat for Pascal Siakam because my goodness, we've seen big games from Pascal Siakam in his entire tenure with the Toronto Raptors, especially after his rookie season. He can explode for nights where he hits 30, but on those nights, oftentimes it feels like Pascal Siakam is a dude that has to work for every single bucket. He's running the floor for those lanes. He has to be, going nuclear from behind the three-point line, something that's unsustainable. But this entire season for Pascal Siakam, the game just looks so easy. It looks so easy for Pascal Siakam at this point, to the point where he was just out there, felt like he was chilling, and got 31 points, 12 rebounds, and 6 assists, 2 blocks, 8 of 21 from the field, but 2 of 3 from the three-point line. And the Atlanta Hawks, man, while you might not tell, why you probably couldn't tell from this game, but they have some elite, big man defenders, including Capella and Onyeka Okongwu, right? DeAndre Hunter can switch on to guys and be a pest out there on the defensive end, right? And Pascal Siakam is making them look like absolute scrubs, and they aren't, but he's making them look like it, right? He's just comfortable. He's not forcing up any shots. He can get that mid-range look whenever he wants. He's confident in that three-point stroke. There's no more hesitations from any sort of shot from Pascal Siakam, and the finishing around the rim, the spin became a meme for Pascal Siakam. It became a meme because while he had that quick spin his rookie, second-year seasons, even that year with Kawhi, when he had more defenses locked in on him, it felt like his spins became these half spins. They became a bit slow, and it was almost his safety valve, his don't know what to do, I'm just going to do a spin. Now he's back to making those sort of, not just spins, but Euro steps, pass fakes, all the footwork in the world, right? It's not just spin EP anymore, it's just elite Hakeem Olajuwon-esque, hyperbole obviously there, don't roast me comment section, but the footwork all around is looking elite there from Pascal Siakam. So folks, show this man some love. Show this man some hype because he's so in control of his body. He's so in control of his game right now. If the double comes, he can either step around them without, losing the basketball. Again, 6 assists in this game, which is a low for Pascal Siakam this season, but 0 turnovers. And all of the defensive focus is on this man right now. He is forcing absolutely nothing. He's just getting the looks that he wants. He's getting his teammates open. He's rebounding. He's not getting fatigued. He's playing elite defense. Pascal Siakam, I know it's a meme. I know it's a thing people roast him about, but Pascal Siakam's looking like a top 5 player. He's number 4 in the MVP voting ladder right now, and if he continues this level of comfortability, even knocked down his free throws tonight, shooting 13 of 16 from the field, if he can play with this level of comfort, even if the numbers don't stay as nuclear as they are, he is a true number 1 option, and he is a true superstar in this NBA. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. shout out to Pascal Siakam, man. That is just an absolute W for him there right now. Scary. He's spooking. Spicy PB spooking all these other teams on Halloween night. Scottie Barnes, Pascal Siakam were absolutely great in this one. And, got to give some love. I feel like Trent Jr. has just been solid this entire season. And then, he gets overlooked by the emergence of Pascal Siakam, Scottie Barnes playing well. Fred VanVleet's had some great nights and stuff. So, that's showing love to Gary Trent Jr. Again, the fact that he can just knock down some threes at an elite clip, space the floor for us, hits timely shots. The Hawks went on a couple of runs tonight, and Gary would just come back and silence their bench or crush their souls with a timely three-point shot, a timely midi. Had a couple of really nice drives tonight in this one. Gary Trent Jr., right? He's a dude that's quietly, he's not trying to dunk on people. He's not trying to have a quick first step. He's more smooth with his game, but he can slash the rim. He's had a couple nice dunks, especially his first season with us, that half season. So Gary Trent Jr. made a couple nice drives tonight, and if he can add a finishing through contact to his game, getting to the free throw line a little bit more, we're going to love to see that. But we got a super chat coming in from Turtle T saying, can't keep Fred VanVleet, Siakam, OG, Trent, Barnes, who has a better trade value if we have to go move to sign others. Go Raptors, go. You going down in fantasy this season. Appreciate the super chat, Turtle T. And we'll see what's happening in fantasy. I'm sitting back, letting the trades happen and stuff. I got to update those base bar because I want to keep all the records in there. But I digress on that point. But I think we can. And I'm going to make a full out rant on this. Don't worry, Turtle. I'm going to make my full take on this for a full little pocket of this video. But I think we can. I like what's happening here with this Raptor squad. But one guy that I do want to show a lot of love to, and he's a rookie. He's a second-round pick. A guy that had zero expectations really coming into the season. It's Christian Koloko. Pressing the wrong buttons. Look at that smile on Christian Koloko right there. It's hard to believe a man as handsome as that will be scaring teams, but this man's was spooky to the Atlanta Hawks tonight because, in this game, I'm pressing the wrong buttons. I'm throwing up all the pictures of the guys, but 9 points, 5 rebounds, 3 blocks. Box score is not going to say something that, isn't going to be looking that scary hours as he actually was out there on the court, because this man, Christian Koloko, tries to dunk the basketball every single time he gets it. Every single time he's in the lane, he has an opportunity, he just rises up, uses his length, and I don't care if you have a shot blocker like Clint Capella, I don't care if you have a Kongwu underneath the rim, he got blocked a couple times. He's gotten blocked a couple times at the start of the season. It doesn't deter Christian Koloko because he goes to the rim with force. He's getting and ones. He's getting posters on top of people. And that's exactly what you want out of your big man. None of this soft sort of stuff. None of this soft sort of finishes around the rim, right? We want to see Christian Koloko be emphatic. Be going to the rim at force, especially our biggest guy out there. Offensively, he's a perfect target for our bigs driving those lanes. He's getting to those dunker spots at will. Koloko, man, is elite. He is elite. And what is he, 20, 21? Like, he's a rookie, a raw prospect that even growth from Summer League to now feels exponential. And it's gotten to the point, and we're going to drum up a little bit of propaganda later in this podcast, but I feel like Nick Nurse might trust him more than a Precious. Maybe even a Boucher. Right? He's out here getting the starts over these guys. He's not playing no garbage time. It's not one of those sympathetic starts. The Raptors look really nice with a athletic, mobile big man that doesn't let them, mess up their schemes. Because sometimes you throw in a big into your system. We saw it with Aaron Baines, Alex Len, different guys we brought into the squad, even Freddie Gillespie. These bigs that can kind of defend, be rim protectors a little bit. I'm not calling Aaron Baines or Len rim protectors by any means, but you want to be able to have the switchable defense in the Nick Nurse schemes, right? We saw it with Serge Ibaka and Marc Gasol. All those guys could switch on to anybody. But that pair at the 5, paired alongside a dude that can just deter every single shot at the rim. And we saw it from Trae Young. We saw it from DeJounte Murray. When Christian Koloko was in that paint, people were scared. He didn't block every shot. He still got 3 blocks in this game. But he's not blocking a shot every possession, but his impact is felt on the defensive end every single time a player drives in on him. So that's that's a huge, huge piece for Christian Koloko. That's just, I love it. How are we getting this out of a second round pick? And we're going to discuss the bench later in this pod, but Christian Koloko is going to be a rotation player for this team, man. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I don't care if his finishing falls off a little bit of a cliff. I don't care if he hits a bit of a rookie wall. The impact we have with Christian Koloko just being an anchor of our defense, even for stretches into a game, add him alongside an OG Anunoby, alongside a Scottie Barnes, Pascal Siakam, both like with their size and length on the wings, and then Fred VanVleet and Trent Jr. harassing people in the backcourt. Our defense looks that much better with Christian Koloko in the lineup from last season, and we were a good defensive team in the second half of last season. So lots of huge stuff out there for Christian Koloko. Throw some W's in the chat for our guy Christian Koloko, but also show some love to OG Anunoby. 14 points, 4 rebounds. Let's pull up the box score. The fantasy heads. I'm pressing the wrong buttons, but 14 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, but 6 steals tonight from OG Anunoby, 2 blocks, 5 of 10 from the field, and just knocked down his shots, did what we needed him to do tonight. And when he was switched on to, whether it be Trae Young, DeJounte Murray, DeAndre Hunter, they just didn't know what to do. And Murray and Trae Young are 2 all-star point guards. Trae Young is an all-NBA point guard. OG Anunoby is making them look like little children out there dribbling the basketball, right? You know, when you're coaching kids or something like that, you're playing against a 2-3-year-old, you want to flex your dominance, right? And you steal the ball from them every single time. That's what OG Anunoby was doing to these Hawks players tonight. That's what was happening. And man, like the defensive impact that OG Anunoby has for this team, I get people always say, oh, the ISO ball and all that sort of stuff. And yes, it deserves criticism. But we can't just trade this guy for whatever, right? We can't just let him get thrown away, because OG is the anchor of this defensive team. Getting steals, getting blocks, can switch on to anybody. He is the embodiment of the Toronto Raptors philosophy. So shout out to OG Anunoby. It's legit. Ryan saying he looked like he was playing football out there. He was just bullying these kids. That's what's happening. And yeah, still a real one saying even if we had a first round pick, still think Messiah likely picks Koloko. The man doesn't care what the experts think. He trusts the scouts. And yeah, that's why we traded our first round pick for a second one, because we knew he'd fall to us. And you know, the Raptors wanted to draft him. It's some huge, huge stuff there. That's what we love to see. But also want to show some love to a couple bench guys coming in. And while Precious didn't have the greatest first half performance, in my opinion, came out in the second half, looked a lot more under control. I'm drumming up some propaganda on this one for old Precious Achiuwa. Didn't play, just looked a little bit out of it, but Precious Achiuwa, only 3 shots tonight. Played within himself, kind of probably felt that he wasn't in a rhythm tonight. Went 2-3 from the field, had 11 points in this game. Precious to 10 points, plus 11 for the game in terms of blocks plus minus, but 3 rebounds, 1 assist, had a couple of really nice drives, just doing his thing out there. And then his brother in the front court for the bench. I was gonna say brother in the backcourt. That's what I used to call my backcourt duo back in the day. Oh, and we got a subscriber. I got the live count on the subs, guys. Hit that sub button. I'm keeping the plugs. I'm keeping a watch out for it, but I'm rambling here. But Chris Boucher, 11 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 steals, 1 block. Chris Boucher is always filling up that stat sheet. Boucher is just a reliable piece off this bench. Otto Porter Jr. is going to provide that similar value for this Raptors team. Precious Achiuwa is more of the you get him or you don't. And tonight, I think in the second half, we got him a bit more than we did in the first. And then I feel like Koloko's, when Fred VanVleet's back in the lineup, going to be one of those reliable guys off the bench as well. So if we get Otto Porter Jr. back, if we get our team sort of relatively healthy, I think our bench issues will solve themselves. But, you know, I love seeing all this stuff from this Raptors squad in this one. And folks, I do have to discuss this. I have to bring it up because Turtle's asking who we got to cut, you know, with the super chats. But Fred VanVleet injured tonight, right? Should the Raptors be sitting Fred VanVleet? Should we trade him for nothing? Should we give him up? Right? Look at this jersey. Look how mad he looks ripping that Raptors jersey right there. You know, he had such a bad game on Friday. Should we just cut Fred VanVleet and let him walk? No. The Raptors are much better with a healthy Fred VanVleet. Nick Nurse came out and said that Fred VanVleet tweaked his back early in that Sixers game, didn't play well for the rest of it. Was also, the Sixers are just historically a bad matchup for Fred VanVleet. So when he's playing hurt and playing up against a bad matchup in Tyrese Maxey, things don't work out. You can't overreact to one game. But Fred VanVleet facilitates for the squad. He's improving in the areas we wanted him to improve in. He's been more efficient. His assist-to-turnover ratio is better. He's facilitating more for the squad. And he's still able to hit some clutch shots for this team. So Fred VanVleet, if you look at the exception of that Philadelphia 76ers game, has been great for the squad. Don't have recency bias with Fred VanVleet. But I will say this. I wouldn't mind Fred VanVleet playing off the basketball more because there is legitimate concerns about his load for this team. And it's not just because he's, a focal point on offense. I feel like that's already been dialed back. That's already been discussed. He does so much for this team, especially last season, right? I feel like he's being more of a creator, which is a better role for him long-term for this team, and then having to pick his spots the same way Kyle Lowry did in his later years with the Toronto Raptors. Pick his spots where he really has to take over as a scorer and then run it on that front. That's what his offensive role should be. But defensively, when he's out there, he's going to be guarding the top guards on the other team, especially if they have a little bit of size. If they're, this guy clamped Steph Curry in the NBA Finals. Fred VanVleet, Nick Nurse brought it up, how he is the go-to defender in the backcourt for this Raptors squad. They always throw him on the best player. Even sometimes the better wing players they throw Fred VanVleet onto. So we ask a lot of him on the defensive end. I like that we are kind of dialing back his role as a scorer on the offensive end for large chunks of this game. But he needs to play less minutes. He's still up there, tops in the league in terms of minutes, right? We need to get this guy running some more, just play him less minutes. Like, get him a rotation. Scottie Barnes is the point guard tonight. He only played 33 minutes in this one. I guess we were blowing out the Hawks. This might have been a close game. The minutes might have been high for all of the Raptors in this one as well. So, what do we do? First thing we do is, I saw Malachi Flynn play tonight. Him and Delano Banton had some good moments there in garbage time, in the scrub minutes in this game. But I have a couple issues. Malachi Flynn, one, when he was out there with the rotation guys, just didn't look that into it. Just, there was something off about Malachi Flynn's game today. And he scored one bucket. Wasn't horrible by any means. Didn't do anything egregiously bad, but just looks a little bit out of place there in the Raptors system. I want to see him get some opportunity with this team to see if he can knock down some threes, see if he can be more of a creator. Malachi Flynn is like a real pick and roll point guard. And the Raptors just don't run a lot of those sort of sets, a lot of those options, not even like a lot of horn sets where the screen comes up high. So I feel like Malachi Flynn's biggest offensive values just aren't going to be utilized in a Raptor system. So I feel like that's why he looks a little bit out of place from the eye test and just can't really get his game going in short minutes with the Raptors. Delano Banton in garbage time always looks amazing. Preseason always looks amazing. Like, look at his stat line tonight. Gotta stop hitting that button. But Delano Banton, 5 points, an assist, knocked down a three, knocked down a nice little floater. But Malachi Flynn also 4 points, couple assists. They didn't get a lot of run. Stats aren't going to matter too much. But the reason Delano Banton looks so good in these moments, but really struggles when he's out there with starting caliber players that he has to sort of play a role with, it's because Delano Banton dribbles the air out of the basketball. He's a ball stopper. And while he's a solid passer, like a playmaker and stuff, he just really, he puts the game kind of to a halt. And, he'll start dribbling a lot, try to make a little ISO. And sometimes it works. But when you're going up against starting caliber teams and, you're out there with lineups of Fred VanVleet, OG Anunoby, Scottie Barnes, Pascal Siakam, even Precious Achiuwa, Chris Boucher, they're higher than you in the pecking order. You can't really do that. So Delano Banton isn't super effective at just catching on the wing and making a quick split decision, at least from the eye test, in my opinion. He's great at slashing when he has a couple minutes to sort of dribble around, size up his defender. Your classic pickup basketball player, right? They're not great at just making a quick read and driving and stuff. He's solid in transition and all that, but in the half court, he just doesn't really fit with what the Raptors want to do. So I don't think Until Delano Banton fixes that, until he's able to sort of integrate himself well, be able to make those quick drives within the flow of the offense without putting everything to a drastic halt, I don't think the answer is Delano Banton. I don't think it's Malachi Flynn. But there is one player that I think deserves an opportunity. There's one guy out there that I think really should be getting some run, man. He's long, he's wiry, he's knocking down jump shots, he's slashing, he's decisively quick, he facilitates, he was amazing in Summer League, he was amazing in preseason. Get this man, Jeff Doughton, in the game. Get this man, Jeff Doughton, an opportunity. He is good. He plays within the flow of the offense. He gets the ball swung to him. He's not looking for his shots consistently, but when he gets them, he can take advantage. He can knock down the three. He can knock down the midi. His finishing around the rim is really smooth. Just give him some run. This is his first real season in the NBA. It was one of those COVID players last year, bounced around teams, right? But he's an older player. I think he's 25, 26 years old. Right? He's not no rookie development project coming in. Jeff Doughton could play, and he could play right now. I know he's a two-way guy. It's tough to really get things going, but Paul Blunt, he's being blunt about those takes, but he couldn't have said it any better. Doughton, Nick Nurse, get this guy into the game. Get this guy an opportunity. Run him with the starters. Let him take some minutes off of Fred VanVleet. I want to see what Jeff Doughton does. He's long, he's wiry, he plays defense. Get him in the game. He fits the Raptor system. I think Doughton is a guy. I feel like people are jumping around from Banton to Flynn and stuff. I've been saying it since Summer League, since preseason. Doughton's good, man, and he fits what this Raptors do. But two all asking, Riker is dead, ain't coming back. Got a super chat coming in for Turtle T. Riker's not dead, he is alive. It's chill, folks. He's all good. Point to 1,000 videos where I've brought up Riker. He's all right. But throw a yes. Just throw a yes out there in the chat. I want to see the super chat, the chats rolling. And do you agree that Jeff Doughton should be getting minutes? I want to see yes or no. Just spam it in the chat. That's what we wanna see happen, because I really think Doughton has potential. He's a guy that I think can insert himself into the lineup, and he's so smooth, man. The jumper's a little bit unorthodox, but he can hit middies, he can hit threes. I'm being a little bit of a broken record here. I want to see what the chat has to say about what's going on at this point, but this man's a baller. Candace, I completely agree. But Turtle saying we want Riker. I don't know where Riker's at, so that's what's going on. No, Colors Rookie saying no. We got a bunch of yeses coming in from the chat right there. We're a little bit behind on the chat there. So yes for Doughton. Paul Blunt couldn't have said it better. So that's what's occurring. But I feel bad for Thad. William Chan, I do agree. Shout out to Chatty Thaddeus Young. He's a guy that I feel like, when things get rough, especially injuries start happening, Thaddeus Young should get some opportunities. Kem Birch has sort of eclipsed him in the pecking order at this point because he's more of a natural center. So I see what's happening on that front. But, Tom M's coming in with the super chat saying, at this point, I don't care. Pick one. Banton, Flynn, Doughton, and stick with them. My choice is Banton. And Tom M, I think Banton has the most potential out of that group, but he needs to figure out how to play with other players. Give Doughton an opportunity. Just see what happens. Experiment at the start of the season. But I do agree, when you pick one, you got to give him some run throughout the game. And I wouldn't mind seeing Malachi Flynn having just a game where he's guaranteed 20 minutes. See how he does with it. Give him at least one. I want to write Flynn off too quickly. I don't want to write Banton's had a couple opportunities to start this year, but that's what's happening. But Connor W coming in with the super chat saying Spurs hype will be dead after Wednesday. Spurs have quietly been good. They've been quietly been good. And they're getting W's. I think do we play them on Wednesday? Connor, remind me in the chat what our schedule is looking like. But Connor's definitely a guy that can get some W's. But Doughton plays both sides. Also, keep me updated, folks. I want to know who's winning that Nets Pacers game. I'm hoping the Nets keep losing. But Turtle T saying, but so if we saying we keep Fred VanVleet, we have to keep Siakam and Barnes and Prob Barnes, which leaves Trent and OG as the odd ones out. Turtle, we don't have to have any odd ones out. We don't have to have any odd ones out. Right? This season, our squad is looking nice. We need that depth. Injuries happen. We need those. We can't just trade these guys for nothing. Our starting unit has looked absolutely amazing out there on the court. We don't need to throw any players out into the cold. It's a nonsense take. But, hey, too much depth is a good problem. And we don't have too much depth. That's the thing, Will. Like, we don't need to get rid of players. Like, healthy? I think we have the right amount of guys. We have a bench that can work. But when we have injuries, we've seen it this season. The bench has been a problem at times for the squad. I think Down can come in and fix that. Even Champagne in this one came in, aggressive on the glass, right? Finish around the rim, can knock down a three as we saw last season. Just elite rebounder, plays defense. Like one of those guys, give some opportunities there. Give some opportunities from the deep bench players and let them have a little bit of leash out there. We have Koloko, who's cemented himself in the rotation. Obviously, Precious and Boucher are going to get their minutes. And then Kem Birch can be a solid insurance big man. Thaddeus Young is definitely the epitome of an insurance guy right now. I like what this squad is saying. But Spurs November 3rd. Okay, cool. Bulls Sunday at home. Okay, is our next game? Who are we playing in our next game? But the Nets beat the Pacers. That's unfortunate, Oliver. But I'm sort of going through this. What are we? We're 30 minutes into this. I haven't even got to the segments. And tonight, the spicy pea play of the day. And there's a bunch of plays this could have certainly gone to. And the dunk from Christian Koloko. In there in the lane. He got blocked earlier in the game, but this man's had a ferocious slam after a pass from Scottie on a pick and roll. That was a great play to see Koloko just being a dive into that rim and trying to dunk everything. He's blocking shots out there. You love seeing that. And, you know, I'm just giving all the love to Koloko. Also, Scottie Barnes just coming up, hitting pull-up transition threes. That's just crazy. That's wildness coming out there from Scottie Barnes. If he's hitting those pull-up transition threes, it's over. It's over for whatever team we're going up against. So that's a W there. But not all plays. It's going to be the spicy play of the day. And some just make you say, oh, geez. And tonight, the oh, geez play of the day. Here is, we're getting a positive OGs for the Raptors. Negative OGs for the old Atlanta Hawks. Oh, geez. That's what Trae Young was yelling out there running back the court. With his 10 turnovers in this game. He was getting clamped by OG Anunoby, by Scottie Barnes. Whoever was in front of him, they kept him at bay. They weren't letting him splash the rim. They weren't getting to get to the free throw line like he usually does. And Trae Young, 10 turnovers in this game. Barely any points. Was missing those mid-range shots. It was an amazing look for this squad. And, you know, Raptors playing defense like that, that's what we love to see. You know, just the Hawks just couldn't do anything with their elite ball handling, right? They couldn't get anything rocking on the offensive end, especially in that second half. So kudos to the Toronto Raptors defense. Some positive stuff on that front. And Turtle T saying Spicy P All-NBA MVP considerations without a doubt. Still a re-one saying is, I hope the Nets keep losing. In other words, Ben, I hope the Nets keep losing. In other words, he wants KD back on the market. Do we even want KD at this point? Would you even trade OG and Gary Trent Jr. at this point in the chat? Let us know for Kevin Durant. You probably do a little bit, but I don't know. That's what's happening. But finally, they've missed the one, the only Paul Pierce Golden Kazoo. And tonight, the Golden Kazoo, I don't even know who it could go to. I guess Nick Nurse could get it for just not playing Thaddeus Young in a game like this. At least give Thaddy some opportunities, folks, right? Give him a little bit of run. But yeah, there's no real moments. Let me know if you guys caught any Golden Kazoos. Maybe Malachi Flynn coming in, getting the 2 fouls, getting worked on defense. That could be the run, but he redeemed himself with that nice scoop layup in the second half. Raptors just an all-around W here in this game tonight. But folks, I want to see what you guys have to say about this game. Get a little like spike going. Let's get a little like spike going and end off this podcast. I also got the subscriber count. I didn't know how this would work. I wouldn't know if this helps juice the subs. We got 387 people here in the chat. Let's see if we can get that sub count up. It's up there in the corner. I wanna see how this works, see how it looks. May have to make it a little bit cleaner looking, but that's what's happening. And people are saying no. We got yeses, some no's for the Kevin Durant. You know, the quest for KD. It might be coming back. But you know, Gary Trent, O.G. picks for Kevin Durant. At this point, are we even giving up that many assets for KD? If things go to complete garbage for the Brooklyn Nets, which would have to happen if they end up trading this dude. Kyrie keeps going on with wild stuff into the media. They got some wild takes out there in Brooklyn. Like, man, the Nets are falling apart. They beat the Pacers tonight, but the Pacers are a tanking squad, and they barely beat that team. Ben Simmons, the reports are coming out that he doesn't like playing basketball. He's enthusiastic coming out of the bench. You probably still have to do that deal, but man, yeah, because think about it, like a Fred VanVleet, Scottie Barnes, KD, Pascal Siakam, and Christian Koloko, Precious Achiuwa, Chris Boucher, Otto Porter Jr. Like, that team is ferocious. That team is a chip. Like, that's a guaranteed chip. So you probably have to make that move. But man, I don't know though. I don't know. I'm thinking my heart over the height. And we've had losses. I know we're riding a high of this game. You probably still do that deal, but I'm not giving up all those picks on top of it. I'm definitely not giving up all those picks on top. Maybe that keeps us out of the running, but that's my take on that stuff. But if you're not Tyrese Maxey, you will lose. Alistair, there's no other way to put it. As long as Tyrese Maxey's not on the court, you are getting clamped by this Raptors defense. And Tyrese Maxey versus an injured Fred VanVleet as well. That's also a tank. That's also a take. And Robbie's saying Ben Simmons need a snake charmer at this point. Yeah, they need a lot. They need a lot. People say no are too emotionally attached to the team. And Dolly, who says there's anything wrong with being emotionally attached to our basketball team? Who says that? You know, let's get that rocking. But my father owns the S in Sony. Hey, I think every Siakam owns the S. Scottie, Siakam, our whole squad owns the S's on these squads. But I think Jeff Doughton would be a huge piece on the bench. I think that would be something nice. Addis is on top saying, I say we keep rolling, developing with the current squad. It's a dynasty coming. Can't disagree. The one thing about it too, and it fits what Turtle was saying in the super chats, is if you trade OG and Gary Trent Jr., then you have like 4 contracts you really have to worry about going forward in Fred VanVleet, Pascal Siakam, Scottie Barnes, and obviously Kevin Durant. Whereas if you keep OG Anunoby, keep Gary Trent Jr., you have 5. Now, Kevin Durant's contract is pretty lucrative, so cancel that how you will, but it is easier managing all your money sort of put into like a couple prospects rather than money being thrown out left, right, and center to a bunch of players. So there is that aspect to it, but you know, that's what's happening. But Silver One saying, I would do the trade for KD. He's putting up numbers. If we get KD, we're going to the finals. That's true. But salaries won't work. Siakam's the only piece you can move for KD. Edward, well, if that's the case, and I haven't looked at this since the summer, there's no way I'm moving Pascal Siakam, Kevin Durant. 0 chance. I don't care if it's straight up. I don't care if the Nets are throwing in picks. I'm not moving Pascal Siakam for Kevin Durant at this point. He's younger. He fits the Raptors culture. He's just more of good vibes. And his passing right now is all worldly. So I'm not trading Pascal Siakam for Kevin Durant. Call me crazy, but that's just what's happening. I want KD. I just don't want to give up pieces of our future to get him. It's definitely fair. I agree. But he's rostered the Growth. He roasted the Growth 46. Love that. Peter saying, did you all and Riker break up the band? No, Riker just, he's chilling, man. He's chilling. No beef, no breaking up. He's just rocking out, you know. But the Nets can retain some value on Kevin Durant's contract. Yeah. Cap's going up. The boys get raises. Dipping the luxury tax, and you're a contender. True. I'm interested to see how this season continues to play out as we figure everything going. You know, the Raptors continue to improve last season. We're continuing to improve over the course of this year. We're such a young team. I'm just juiced for this squad, man. I am juiced. I'm not worried about trades. Kevin Durant, you gotta bring it up, but that's what you gotta talk about. But Pascal's compliments us more than Kevin Durant. I completely agree. Jake Paul is out there whiling in the chat. Congrats to Jake Paul winning that boxing match. I know a lot of people are cheesed about that. But Gary is no KD. It's true. But do not trade Gary Trent Jr., but OG is as good as it gets. Great trade bait, so I wouldn't have to watch him fall. Hey, don't be hating on OG Anunoby. I already went on a rant about he's our most elite defender and all that sort of stuff. But, you know, folks, what a game for the Toronto Raptors. Coming out here getting W's. Subscribe to the Raptors Digest. We got one sub throughout this live stream. But I appreciate everyone that's been tuning into the lives, tuning in the channel, tuning in everything we got going. Hit that sub button. It means the world to us. That's why I've been mostly plugging on that. We're really pushing the the growth of the brands, the Raptors Digest, Leafs Digest, Jays Digest. Jays Digest almost at 1,000 subs as well. Like, they've been going nuclear. If you haven't checked out Jays Digest, what are you doing? Habs, I know a lot of us aren't Habs fans in the Raptors Digest, Raptors community, but check out all the channels. We're growing a bunch. But folks, you guys are the best. I'm signing out. Cheers.